Hey, hi guys. Welcome to QA Prayogshala. So, guys, in today's episode, we are going to learn about class and objects. Okay. So, as far as Java language is concerned, class and objects they are the basic building blocks. Okay. So, you cannot imagine a program in Java language without using class and object basically. Okay. So it is really a very important concept. Okay, as far as Java language is concerned, uh, I could say around 20 to 30% of Java language you could understand if you understand class and objects really well. Okay, so we'll make an attempt, okay, to understand what exactly do we mean by class and object. Okay, I would I would try to give some practical examples through which you can easily understand, okay, what do we mean by a class and an object. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Okay. So if you see, right, according to the textbook definition, you could see on my screen, what do we mean by a class? Okay, so class basically is a template or a blueprint, okay, which defines the state and behavior for all objects belonging to that class. Okay, so this is a textbook definition. Okay, this is a very textbook definition, but let us try to elaborate this definition. Okay, so guys, basically, okay, one best thing about this class and object is we could relate it with the real world entities. Okay, so let me give you one example. Okay, so if we see around us, okay, we see various real world entities around us. Like let's say if I give you one very basic example, then we see car, right? Then we have bike. Okay, then let's say for an example, dog, cow. Okay, so these are all real world entities. Okay, now you will ask me why am I typing all these objects? Okay, how is it related with class? Okay, so let me give you one basic example. Okay, so this basically it is nothing but this is the classification. Okay, this is the generic classification. So if we take very simple example of a car, right? So if you take a basic example of a car, then car has various attributes to it. Okay, various properties of a car would be, first thing would be the brand of a car. Okay, you can classify car based on its brand. Okay, like let's say for an example, if I take very simple example, we have car like Baleno. It could be either Tiago, right? Tata Tiago, and it could be either Hyundai i20 or and so on. So based on brands, you can classify the cars. Okay. So attributes are nothing but these are the properties based on which you can classify any object. Okay. So one thing is the brand. Second thing, it could be the color of the car. Okay. We can also classify the cars of the same brand but of the different colors based on the colors. Let's say uh, there is a white car. Let's say there is a red car and so on. Okay, it could be blue car and so on. So attributes are nothing but it is the basis based on which you can classify any object. Okay. Finally, let's say if we take one more example, then it could be either the mileage of a car. Okay, mileage of a car it differs based on the brands. Okay, so this is also one of the attribute based on which you can classify basically a car. Okay, so attributes, guys, are nothing but these are the basic you can say the properties based on which you can basis. Okay, based on which you can classify objects. Okay, so these are the attributes of a car. Okay, so this is the one thing. Okay, mileage it could be either 12, okay, or it could be 18 or something like that. Okay, the second part, if you see, okay, of an of the car, it could be the behavior, or rather you can say the state of a car. Okay, this is the second thing. So state of a car is, first of all, a car could be steady, in the very steady state. Okay, this is the state of a car. It is not moving, it is the neutral state, right? Second behavior of a car, if you see, behavior, that is nothing but you can term it as the functionality of a car, right? What all functions you can perform with in the car, those all things are the behavior of a car. Like basically there would be an accelerator, so you can accelerate a car. Either you can apply brake, okay, to a car, okay, and etc etc. You can also start the music system in the car, okay. So these are nothing but these are the behavior or the state of a car, okay. So this is the thing, okay. So if you see, right, so car is basically a generic term, right? Car is basically a generic term, okay. But we were able to basically prepare a template, okay. We were able to prepare a template, basically template in the sense you can say, uh, like let's say attributes were like brand of a car, then color of a car, then the mileage of a car. So these are the attributes based on which we can classify the cars, okay. And let's say for an example, and this were the behavior of a car, right? But as we all know, right, there could be different cars, and based on that, attributes might change of a car. But at the end of the day, they are the cars, right? Basically, they are the cars. Okay. So here, if you see, here I want you to focus on one thing. So here, this car is basically nothing but this is the class. Okay. Class, why it is a class? Because it is the classification of cars. Okay, classification of cars. So in the car class, what do we have? We'll have either, let's say, Hyundai car. Let's say for an example, Hyundai is the brand. Then let's say Tata is the brand. Then Figo is the brand of cars, okay. And here also we could have different cars, like let's say I-20 is there. If I consider Tata, then let's say it could be either Tiago, okay. And in Figo, it could be some brand, okay. I currently don't remember any of the brands of cars which are of Figo brand, but that's not important. But basically, right, one thing I want you to focus is Hyundai, if I consider, it is the car brand, right? Tiago, if you consider, it is the car brand. So it basically belongs to the car class. And these cars, right, of different brands, these are nothing but this is the instance of the car class because they belong to the car class. So these are nothing but these are the objects, or you can say in other words, these are the instances of the car class. Okay. I hope guys you are understanding this thing. Okay. Let me give you another example. Okay. Another example is of the dog. Okay. So if you simply go to Google, right? Let me go to Google. Okay. Let me go to Google. Okay. And if you simply go to Google and if you simply search, right, uh, dog of various breeds, the moment you search this, you will see different dogs, okay, of the different breeds. Like it could be either bulldog, then Labrador retriever, it could be German Shepherd, and so on. Right. So if you see, right, dog here is nothing but that is a class. Okay, dog is a class, and in the similar way, if I want to classify dog, okay, then there would be several attributes based on which I can classify the dog. Okay, what would be those? So attributes basically, guys, are nothing but this is the basis based on which you can classify the objects. Okay, so if you see, right, if I want to classify dogs, so what would be that? on what basis I can classify. So very first thing, it could be the breed of a dog. Okay. Breed of a dog, it could be different, like it could be either German Shepherd, okay, X, Y, Z, whatever. Okay, we are not so much interested in knowing the breed, but here this is one of the bases based on which we can classify the dog. Okay. Second attribute, it could be the color of a dog. Okay, you might have noticed that color of the dog, it would be also different. Either it could be black, it could either it could be brown, either it could be white, and so on, right? So this is the second base. Third base, it could be the age of a dog. Okay, either of 1 year, 2 year, and so on, right? So these are again the attributes of a dog. Okay, and this will be common across all the dogs. Okay, it won't change based on the dog. Okay, so any dog I can classify based on this. Okay, so these are basically the attributes of a dog. Okay, second thing I want you to understand is the actions, okay, that a dog can perform. A dog can be sleeping, okay, that is the very first action. Second thing is either it could bark also, okay. Third thing is either it could run also, okay. So these are the actions of a dog, okay. So dog, if I want to classify, I would classify based on the attributes and the actions, okay. Attributes again is the basis based on which I can classify the dogs, and actions is the basically any dog. These are actions are also common across all the dog, okay. So here if you see, right, the dog is a class here, and if I classify them, if I want to classify dogs, then I would classify like let's say German Shepherd, okay, and let's say let us take another example, like let's say a bulldog, okay. So bulldog is another classification, okay. So here if you see, right, here if you see German Shepherd, Bulldog, they all are what? They are dogs. So they belong to the dog class. And German Shepherd, if you see, is what? It is the, since it is belonging to the dog class, it is the instance of the dog class. So these are the objects. Okay. These are the objects. Or you can say these are the instance of the dog class. Okay. Now German Shepherd, it doesn't belong to the car class, right? Because German Shepherd is not a car. Okay. So this is the definition. Okay, this is the practical definition of what do we mean by a class and an object. So class, guys, is nothing but that is the classification of the different objects. Okay. So classification, it would be based on the attributes based on which you will be able to differentiate, okay, or you will be able to classify the cars, okay. So okay, so this is what we mean by a class, okay, and the object. Okay, so here is one you can say a kind of an assignment for you guys. It is really interesting, okay. So what I want you guys is just pause the video, okay, and give me some examples, practical examples like I gave you, right, of a dog and a class. Can you give me some examples of a class and an object? Okay, I mean real world examples. Just paste in the comment section. Even though it is wrong, it is completely okay. Okay, this is just a assignment for fun. Okay, so that's what we mean by a class and an object. Okay. Now, one more thing, okay, I want you to understand is, since we have not gone through the programs so far, but right, but I want you to give one example, okay, so that you will understand it in a very better way. Okay. So let's say for an example of a, okay, let's say we are taking the example of a car. Okay, don't worry if you don't understand this program, that's completely okay. Okay, but I just want you to focus on what I am trying to make you understand. So very first thing is, let's say this is the very basic example of a Java program. Okay, so let's say there is a class called as a car. Okay, then there are data types also that we'll see in the next episode, don't worry. But let's say this is the attribute, right? So let's say for an example, the brand of a car is, let's say, Tata Tiago. Okay, and next thing is, let's say, for an example, uh, average or the mileage of a car is, let's say for an example, is 18. Okay, and let's say, okay, mileage is 18. uh, Never mind. Okay, and finally let's say color of a car is nothing but, let's say it is a white color car. Okay, for an example. So these are the attributes of a car class, and that would remain common across all the cars. Okay, that won't change basically. Okay, so let's say for an example, I don't want to give here. Okay, I will tell you where I will give. Okay, but this is the brand. Okay, so in case you guys have gone through the C language, this is nothing but this is the basic attributes of a car. Okay, and this is nothing but string is a data type. Okay, int is again the data type for the numeric values, and color is again it is the string data type. Okay, so for an example, okay, now various attributes if you see, right? So let's say for an uh, example, if we take the behavior of a car, then it would be the accelerate. Okay, so this is the function, we can say. Okay, this is nothing but this is the function of a car. Okay, this is nothing but this is the function of a car. Okay, so let's say accelerate. Okay, this is the function. Okay, in the C language it means function. Function in Java it means the method. This is the method, or you can say this is the behavior of a car. This is the basic functionality of a car. Then brake, right? We normally apply brake to a car, so second function is the brake. Okay, so okay, let me simply type in like this. Okay, and this will be common across all the cars, it won't change. Okay, so okay, so this is the brake. Okay, let us take this. Okay, so I want you to understand this thing. Okay, so attributes, if you say these are the attributes of a car. Okay, and it would change based on the cars. Okay, it won't remain same, right? It would be different for different cars. And there is one method that is compulsory. Okay, in Java for normal Java programs, that is this method. That is the main method. Okay, and let's say okay, so this is how we normally write a Java program. Don't worry if you don't understand, that's okay. Okay, and normally what we do is we need to create the instance of the car class. So let's say for an example, okay, my car is Tiago. So Tiago is nothing but is the instance of the car class. That is equal to new car. I will write something like this. Okay, don't worry if you don't understand this thing, that's completely okay. Okay, so this is how we create the instance of the class. Okay, so this is the instance. Now what I will do is, let's say for an example, okay, uh, this brand is Tiago. Okay, and let's say for an example, there is a concept called as a constructor. Don't worry, we'll understand it in the next episodes. That's okay. This I am doing just to make you guys understand what we studied. Okay. So for an example, okay, this will accept some parameters. Okay. Let's say that is a brand. Okay. Then let's say average, and finally the color. Okay. So it will accept these parameters. And let's say brand is will pass these values. Okay. uh, Something like this. Let's say this dot average. Okay. Let me just copy this. Okay, like this. And avg. Okay. And finally I will write this dot color is equal to this thing. Okay. So okay, so this is the constructor basically. Okay. Now what I will do is I will pass the values from here. So let's say for an example, okay, my brand name is Diago. Okay, this uh, it will basically, okay, for now understand this thing. What it will do basically is it will basically call this function. Okay, this is a kind of a function. Consider it as a function for now. Okay, in future videos we'll understand what to be mean by a constructor and all. Okay, but for now you can consider this as a function, and we need to pass this parameters to this function. Okay, so it basically accepts three parameters. One parameter is brand, one is average, and finally it is the color. So brand name is Tiago. Let's say average is 18, and color is, let's say it is white color. Okay. And finally, what I need to do is I need to uh, call this functions, right? And the way you call is you normally create the instance or object of this particular class, and then you create you call it by typing it like this. This is the object name, that is Tiago. You need to type in dot operator, and then you simply call this function or a method. Okay, so let me call this. This is the accelerate method, and finally uh, this method, that is the break method. Okay, so this is how you normally write a Java program. Don't worry if you don't understand, we'll understand all these things in more detail. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so I want you to understand this thing. Okay, that these are the attributes of a class. Okay, and it will vary based on the different uh, based on the different brands. So let's say for an example, tomorrow I want to call the identity. Okay, so I can simply create new instance. Okay, equal to new car, and now I will write like this. Let's say by 20. Okay, and average is, let's say, 17. Okay, and color is, let's say for an example, it is a red color. Okay, finally you can call this method also. Okay, so okay, let me just call this thing. Okay, and car dot, let's say it is this thing. Okay, that is the break. Okay, one thing we need to make sure is guys, this will also study in the next lectures also. One thing we need to make sure is the class name, it has to be same as the file name. Okay, it cannot be different, else it would be an issue. Okay, it won't allow, Java doesn't allow it. Okay, so I have saved this. Okay, now let us simply run this program in the command prompt for now. Okay, don't worry, we'll see how to install JDK and all such things in the next episodes. That's okay. So in order to, first of all, we need to compile it. Okay. So let me go to this directory where my program is. Okay. So it is in the desktop basically. So yeah, here it is, car.java. Okay. So basically what you need to do is you need to type in like this in order to compile this. So I will simply compile this first in order to see if there are any errors in the program. Okay, it will let me know that. Okay, so I have typed this thing. Okay, record accepted. Okay, okay, it is throwing some errors. Okay, uh, okay, no issue. Let's see what is the issue. Okay, I think we forgot to close the curly braces. Okay, let's again compile this. Okay, so compiler basically what it does is like the way it used to do in the C language also. It simply tells us if there are any syntax errors or something like that. Okay, okay, again it is throwing the error. No problem, just a minute. Hey guys, sorry. So here the issue was basically I was writing something like this. Okay, so that was the issue. Okay, and hence you cannot you normally need to write like this class. It has to begin with the lower case. Okay, so now it is getting compiled successfully. Okay, and now we can simply run this program. Okay, so in order to run you need to simply type in like this. Okay, so yeah, you see this thing. Okay, so it printed it two times because here we are calling it two times. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, so yeah, okay, one more thing I want to show you guys is instead of this we can also do like this. We can print the brand of a car. Okay, like this you can print, so that you will know basically that okay, which part is getting executed. Okay, let me simply type in this. Okay, again the same thing. Okay, so you will know that it is basically calling it for two different objects. Okay, so let us again compile this thing. Okay, don't worry if you don't understand this, that's completely okay. Okay, okay, we can't have this. Okay, sorry, we need to remove this thing. Okay, uh let's again compile it. Okay, it is getting compiled, and let's run this. Okay, finally. Okay, so you see here, right, uh it is basically typing two different brands. Okay, since we are calling the two different from two different instances. So here again, one thing I want you to understand is, okay, based on this program is the car class. Okay, car is a class. Yeah. Okay, and basically if you see, okay, we have two separate instances of this. Okay, that is, one is nothing but the Tiago. Okay, and another one is the I-20. Okay, so here in this program, if you see, right, as we saw earlier, these are the attributes, or these are the bases based on which we can classify the car. Okay, and these are nothing but these are the behavior of the cars, of a car, right? That is accelerate and brake, and that will remain common across all the cars. That won't change. Okay, so these attributes can change, value of this attribute can change. Okay, the likewise in Tiago is the brand, I-20 is the brand, and so on. Okay, color could change. So I hope guys you understood the concept. Okay, pretty well. Okay, Let me know, guys, if you have any suggestions or something. In case you liked this video, you learned something out of it, then do press like button, do subscribe to this channel. Okay, some more interesting videos are coming on this series of Java. Okay, that's all for today, guys. See you in the next episode.